DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Nice Cactus, and GGBet.
DreamHack Open Winter nearing the end of its very first day. We woke up to snow, and by the time we get out of here, guys, it'll be pitch black out. But that's a good thing. We'll need to rest our eyes after what has been a consuming day of Counter-Strike, 5 maps deep and 1 left to go. I am your host, Connor Gervin, joined by Mathieu and Potter, and we have had some awesome matchups, but some unexpected victors. I have to say, this final game, guys, leaves us in a weird place. It's SJ versus GODSENT after they beat 2 teams they're supposed to win against.
Definitely so, and I mean, I think the big question mark for GODSENT coming into this tournament was which GODSENT are we going to see? Are we going to see the online version of GODSENT, or are we going to see the LAN version that just played and won a WePlay, beating Tricked in the grand finals? And their first match opening up, it was explosive.
Yeah, big time. We're going to take a look at that opening matchup. In fact, we'll take a look at Group B in general, just to make sure we have fresh.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we presented this event as a very stacked list of teams, and I don't think we lied to the people. I think we were very honest with that. The fact that we have SJ Gaming and GODSENT in the winner match and Heroic and Crazy in an elimination match, that could be a legit final for a tournament like a DreamHack Open, right? I think it happened even in the past at Heroic and Crazy. Oh, there you go. I didn't even know, but that was a lucky guess. I'm right on it. And that's how stacked it is. 2 teams that could be in the final actually end up having to fight for their lives tomorrow.
A wild one, right? Again, like you said, tournament favorites facing elimination. But sometimes that's just the way things go, and that's how it's happened here in the first of DreamHack Open Winter. So I'm kind of surprised that, obviously, like a bunch of people, we have those 2 teams down in the lower bracket. But we talked to the boys of GODSENT and asked, like, you know, you're not expecting SJ to win that, right? And so there's no individual prep. There's no prep for SJ. We're hoping GODSENT just get to play their own game, focus on what they know they can do well. And clearly, based on the fashion of which they won that event in Malta and the fashion of which they just dispatched of Crazy, like they just backhanded them out of the way. You know, they were not even stopping on that Dust 2 game. They wanted to end up here in the winner's game. They've earned it. And now I am left asking myself, like, is this going to be an easy 2-0? Are they going to come into this event and sweep it the same way they did the one they just victors?
I mean, the one question we have is, was that first game reliable on Crazy playing bad Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
Or was it GODSENT playing absolutely well? And I think the future of this tournament is going to, you know, reveal us the truth. Because I think it's fair to say Crazy was a little bit out of it, right?
Definitely so, and it's got to be a mixture of both. Definitely Crazy was lackluster. They definitely did not show up. The individuals and the superstars didn't, but GODSENT did. But at the same time, I think Michaelelli was a little bit quiet with that AWP on Dust 2. And it's surprising because, like I said, online, his presence, his impact within the server, it is large, it's huge. These guys absolutely rely on his AWP to show up, but they still got the win, and in a very convincing fashion as well. So it's confusing.
Right. Mathieu, why don't you go ahead and give me your 3 reasons, please?
Yeah, I wanted to give it a try. I think Christine is doing an amazing job at that, so I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. So here's why GODSENT is my favorite. The first one is the online versus offline effect, or LAN versus internet. And in my experience, GODSENT is one of the most remarkable examples of a team overperforming on LAN. We have talked to Crystal. He said it himself. They were more focused. They don't flame. They don't get enraged. And you could see that in the game. I think their game is more clean. They're more decisive in the way they take sides. So that is very interesting. And that comes into my second reason, which is what I would call the maiden surprise, or the Madden surprise, right? I was watching this guy play online. I've even analyzed him for some leagues. And I'm going to be honest, he wasn't convincing. He did not convince me. I think he was lackluster a little bit. But if you look at the numbers on LAN, well, he is quite simply their best player. He's the highest rated player on LAN. So there's something about the atmosphere. Maybe it's the focus, maybe it's the adrenaline, but Madden is here to play. And finally, my man, Stico. The Stico is shining, and I'm so happy about it, and I'm biased, and it doesn't, I don't care. I'm just gonna live it. I'm biased. I think when Stico was in the top of Counter-Strike, he was a supportive element, but not because he didn't have the talent to be something else, because no one else had the talent to be what he was, which is a supportive player who was in the shadow, doing the unsavory roles, playing the retakes and the backup. And I have great respect for him, and I'm happy that he has more space, because now he's shining, granted, at a different level, but I'm very happy about that.
And then we have to ask ourselves, Mathieu, excellently done, by the way, I'm going to say. For a first-timer, not too bad.
Not too bad.
8 on 10.
See you tomorrow,
Fantastic.
after day.
Yeah. We have to figure out where this one's going to end up, because if we look at these two teams' opening games, they're on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. We had SJ winning on Nuke, and then, of course, we had GODSENT demolishing on Dust 2. So, Christine, do you have any thoughts on this one? Where do you think we're going to end up?
You know, I think we're going to end up on Nuke once again. Yeah, when I'm looking at these maps, I think it's going to be Nuke or Dust 2. Or, I'm sorry, Nuke or Train, rather.
I think if GODSENT allowed Nuke to go through, that would be a mistake. I'll classify that as a mistake. What we have seen from SJ and how they won their first game, that scares me a little bit. If I'm GODSENT, I want to take that out of the way and not let them. Okay, well, they disregard my advice and they let Nuke go.
10 on 10.
10 out of 10, yes.
Excellently done. 3 Nuke games, guys. That's 50% rate of our games today.
I kind of like it, to be honest. I like Nuke.
Me too.
It is surprising. Nuke it's usually a Mirage or an Inferno. That's the consistent maps that are being played on day one.
Inferno, Dust 2, Mirage. Nah, not today,
you can
guys.
diss
Not
Dust
today.
2, but don't ever diss Inferno.
I wouldn't.
Don't ever.
I wouldn't.
It's my home.
It's meant to be the third map. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Yeah.
No, I think the fact that we see Nuke more and more in best of ones is because teams have actually learned how to play the T side. For the longest time, that was like Slenderman. Everyone was afraid of the T side. Oh my God, how are we gonna win 2 rounds? Now people have realized, wait a minute, we don't really have to go secret all the time. We can move outside, have some fun, be a little bit exotic. People are learning how to play the map, and as a result, they're not scared of playing it in best of one.
Sure. So I mean, you've got the conversation on Nuke already rolling, and you said it right there that if GODSENT let it go through, that you think it could be a mistake. So let's focus our attention onto SJ. We've seen what they have to offer on Nuke, and you seem convinced already, Mathieu.
Yeah, I mean, two things that they did really, really, really well on Nuke in their first game was, first of all, Yampy was not missing outside, and I like the way he was positioning himself, right? He wasn't all in and absolutely, 100% in every fight. He knew how to take 1 kill and then go back to the CT base, even played around the boxes, and he was very aware of the danger, so that was extremely great. And Arvid, I mean, I was convinced by Arvid. Granted, it's just 1 game, so I'm going to try and be calm when it comes to that.
Settle down.
But the lucidity he showed and his ability to think quickly and act quickly in clutches with 7, 6, 8 seconds remaining, opening the door, killing the bomb, going back, see ya guys. That was absolutely exactly. That was very impressive. So yeah, I like what I've seen from SJ. Granted, only 1 map.
I got to jump on that Yampy train as well. I mean, not only was his ability to hold that outside yard, it was his ability to support. We saw KHRN. He had a little bit more of a quiet first half. Then going into that second half, he had his man Yampy up in the rafters, consistently throwing flashbangs his way. And he got so many kills, blind kills, that looked a little bit more easy for him. And it was all due thanks to his mates setting him up for success. So yeah, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, you know, Karen, he's an old man, right? He needs that flash from the teammate.
Yeah.
I got you, padre. There you go.
He's already at like 80% vision, so he needs to he's got the handicap.
Yampy, did I get them? No, continue, keep shooting. All right, I got it. No, I'm trolling, but I used to play against him 10 years ago, so I like to see Karen and Exalted still playing Counter-Strike.
It's cool to see, older guys still up in the mix.
Definitely.
Hanging with the young guns.
And I mean, their presence in the server was absolutely impactful as well. Exarte, this man, he attended 2015 Katowice Major. So he's got a major under his belt. He's absolutely got that veteranship, that experience, and I think it's great that he's able to help once again set his teammates up for success.
And you need people like that. The truth is, for a national scene, for new players to come up, you need some of these players who will act as mentor. That is the key for any healthy scene, that you have someone. We talked about Hunden as a position like that in Denmark, obviously. You have these people here in Finland. They will take these new players in and they will tell them, listen, this is how we used to play 5 years ago, but some of it is still true. I'm going to teach you how it works. And then Yampy with the talent comes in, takes in any advice he can, and then he becomes a better player.
See, we have that in Canadian Counter-Strike with Ocean.
Right?
He's out there molding our young guns.
You were doing that for Canadian CS.
Oh, Mathieu, if you think I've ever played a relevant level of CS.
I played with you. I know what's up.
Oh yeah, you guys played in a match.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He was actually, you know what? Connor was actually doing great with 100 ping, and he was hitting the AWP shots. I was very impressed.
Ooh,
Thank you.
Sniper
Thank you.
Connor.
100 ping king. I have a firm belief that ping doesn't actually exist. It's just meant to hold you back. So don't let your dreams be
Wishful
dreams.
thinking right here, but why not? I mean, can't work.
I will agree that in CS:GO, ping is a little bit more irrelevant.
Oh, shut up.
versus
No.
We're gonna stop that conversation, right? Let's talk
Potter's
about
looking at
GODSENT.
me as like a West Coast player, just like, what do you mean ping isn't real? I got the best of both worlds. East Coast, EU, NA, it's all mine. But here's a mixed bag of all sorts of nationalities. We've got GODSENT on the other side of SJ. Again, not expecting to be playing versus the Finnish lineup. They highly anticipated Heroic, and seeing that go down on Nuke, I would have too. I think they're going to have their hands full with this one.
Yeah, probably. And Christine was right to mention Maikelele, right? Maikelele at some point was at the top of Counter-Strike almost, right? He was an NIP. I even used to play against him in grand finals. He was up there, and then he just sunk. That was it. He disappeared into Counter-Strike, you know? I mean, at the bottom of the earth, if it's flat or whatever. I don't want to go in that debate.
God.
But I mean,
no.
now he's back, and I'm glad. But I haven't seen the Maikelele that would take over games, because when he was in NIP, one of the issues with him was that he would make mistakes. He would cost rounds. Yes, he was a little bit careless, ruthless at times, but he was having an impact. He was taking rounds over. Certainly. He was leading. He was charging. I think he's more conservative in the way he approaches the game in that team, but his impact is suffering from that. I want to see him give rounds. When you're a sniper, you have to give rounds to your team. Your leader in game is supposed to sometimes relax, sip a drink, and you give him a round. I haven't seen Maikelele do that just as much as I would like to.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And speaking of the in-game leader taking it back and sipping a drink, that was not Crystal in that first match. Yeah, right. He was, I believe, the second man in the leaderboards. He was busting out the AWP towards the B bomb site. He was busting out the rifles. He was everywhere all at the same time, and he absolutely had the impact rounds that helped push them over the edge.
For a player with 0.64 ADR and a 0.71 rating, if I just saw that correctly, then his individual performance on their opening day today was astronomical. So really out of orbit for him, and props to that, right? Maybe this is why we didn't get to see Maikelele. Between Crystal and Maiden, who, if you had asked me before that first map went live, like what are the win conditions for GODSENT, I was not going to put the pressure of the frag count onto those two players. Like my eyes were everywhere else, especially knowing that Stiko is now meant to be made as one of the stars of this, and that Zen can frag out hard too. But whatever, it happened the way it did. They shut down Crazy, and that is why they now face versus SJ. But we have a head-to-head talking about individuals, guys, and who are we highlighting in this one?
We spoke about these two individuals a little bit briefly, but it's got to be Yampi and it's got to be Maikelele. Maikelele on the side of GODSENT because, again, he didn't show up quite as much as we'd like on that first map. Going into Nuke, he's going to have to show up once again. We saw Yampi, his ability to hold that outside yard with that AWP, even finding openings on that T side with that AWP. So I think if GODSENT are going to want to match the ability of that AWP coming out of SJ, it's got to be from Maikelele.
Sure, I'm down with that. Now, this is an important one, guys. Everybody listen up, Twitch chat, open your ears real wide. Hashtag SJ, hashtag God. Those are the two commands you're going to use in chat to get your vote in, because I've been keeping tally, and right now, all four of us, chat included, are sitting at 3 points. 3 correct predictions throughout the first day.
Well,
tied up.
3 out of 5 games?
3 out of 5.
Well, that is not good enough for me.
No, so this is it. We're going to be finishing today with one final map. This is your guys' chance to take a lead. Twitch chat, you're supposed to be big brains, so let's see it. Again, hashtag SJ, hashtag God.
Hashtag, can we just get a game of hashtag God versus hashtag hero?
Yeah, it could be, right?
I'd just like to see that just for the lulz.
Now, while Twitch chat scratch their heads and get their votes in, guys, I'm going to need your predictions as well. I went with Furia because I voted first last time, but I'm going to take a backseat. Potter, give me something.
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with SJ here. I thought that their nuke was really good, although it was very close. It was close versus a Heroic who looked absolutely good for the past few months. So I think if SJ show up and Yampi busts out that op, makes the plays that he was playing and making in that first match, it's going to be really difficult for GODSENT. I'm going with SJ.
Yeah, I mean, every good thing comes to an end, right? This is where Potter and I, we part ways.
Oh.
After my whole debate, I kind of have to go with GODSENT. You know, what kind of man would I be? So, no, I do believe, I believe GODSENT have that in the bag. I think offline GODSENT is here right now. They are a scary beast, and they're going to eat that SJ.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put my vote back over on SJ as well. I called that victory earlier today, as did Twitch chat. And now we'll see if they can go ahead and throw another curveball at us. GODSENT have the most lopsided victory out of all the opening games, 16-7 over Crazy. So I'm hoping they prove me wrong in another convincing fashion. I'd love to be surprised. Speaking of surprises, I don't know how he talked his way into it, but Pimp over on the caster desk next to Tom are ready to take this one away. Twitch chat, they've got us wrong, Potter, but the guys are ready here. Let's bring them in.
Thanks, man. I'm very happy that you brought me in, Scrawny. Why are you not here again? Why is he not here?
I don't know. I think that they wanted me to replace him or something like that, and then unfortunately Dan couldn't be here. So
Not a surprise to me, but no.
It happens sometimes.
It happens.
Things go wrong, but you know, we're here in the end.
Scrawny goes wrong. It's okay. We got a good game on our hands.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one. I've seen the Finns play before. They had a really good series versus Crazy. I think they've shown decent individual level, but with some structure behind it, as most Finnish Counter-Strike seems to have. They've got a star player, no doubt that is Jumpy, and I'm looking forward to see a little bit more from him on the AWP. But I think we need, as they sort of mentioned, more from Makalele if there is going to be that battle. But at the same time, I think Crystal performed so well. If he keeps that level up, and everybody performs the way they did versus Crazy, then I don't know if there's much the Finns can do.
That's a good question. I think there's a lot they can do, and initially when I look at this matchup, I have two thoughts in my mind. One is that I was very impressed with GODSENT, what they did against Crazy, and in particular the way they played Counter-Strike. It was very structured, it was together as a team, and it was kind of atypical for a team of that level. You know, normally you see teams at that level, they try to be the individuals, they try to be good, they try to, you know, make sure that the light shine on them so they can move up in the ranks and join an even better team. But this team have come together, you know, it seems like they have a clear idea of how they want to approach the game, and so far so good. I haven't watched a lot of GODSENT, but what I have seen, it's been very impressive. You look over towards SJ Gaming, we don't know that much about them, but we do know one thing, and that is Jumpy is on that lineup. A very interesting prospect. Maybe one of the biggest talents within the Counter-Strike scene right now with the big green. He's super, super solid at what he does, and he's a guy that can take over an entire game. Now, he's facing, as I said, a team, so how is he going to control that? It's easy to do if you're just facing individuals running around and you're the better individual, but if you're facing a team, how are you going to enable yourself and you enable your skill set? That's what I want to see from Jumpy, and that's the two things that I'm going to look out for in this game.
Well, I think that's something that at least we can give a lot of props over to for GODSENT when it came to Dust 2, was their trading was just on point all the way through. Every time they lost a man, there seemed to be a kill right back within a second.
Yeah.
A lot of the time we gave credit to Stiko for that. I think also, like, Madden being a bit more of a loose cannon really caused issues. Now, I think that it's possible on Nuke. I do think it's more difficult. Like on Dust 2, like if you go for these opening picks, you can get timings, like you can get good spawns that give you a little bit of an advantage. But within Nuke, I feel like you have to make your own space almost with utility. Like the smokes need to go down in the right place. He needs to be set up with flashbangs. If he just goes peeking into an angle, unless maybe on ramp you could give it a slight chance, it's still very risky without any like proper nades and proper setup.
I would definitely agree, and that's what I'm looking forward to see. How are these players on your screen right now? How are they going to enable each other? How are they going to perform in this environment? This is a very important game for both of these teams as well. Securing a place straight into the semifinal, getting a day off where you can spend some time on practicing, you can spend time on preparing for your semifinal. This is a big event for these guys. We often taught these DreamHack Opens as events, you know, for not the very best, not the tier 1 scene, but the tier 2 scene. This should be treated as a major for these two teams. If they can go all the way and win this tournament, that would mean the world. So let's see how they're going to fare. Nuke is live, ready. Makalele is outside with the USP. We want more from him. We want more from Sen, and we got it straight away. Question is, can Makalele follow up with it? Not really connecting the first bullets, but he gets a lot of information. He knows that 4 guys is heading down towards lower.
Yeah, they've already rotated 2 over, so the CT side clearly having all the information available. Again, a few missed shots, and that could cause some problems for Stiko, but he's just trying to reposition. He doesn't want to try and be the hero, just going to try and play alongside his teammates and give up a lot of that map control. That's one thing that SJ have been able to do very well in the early portions of this round, is they've taken control away. However, they then get pushed. That's the loose cannon. Manon just goes peeking in, manages a couple of kills and leaves just 1 man remaining. And well, I can't say it's particularly the man you'd want. The experience trying to fight versus the 4 on the other side.
It's a loaded cannon. That's what it is. Madden is completely manhandling this SJ Gaming now. Question is, can he do anything about this? It's a 1 versus 4 situation. He has a Glock in his hands. There's not really a lot of hope for him, is it? He has the bomb on him, so that's something. Maybe he can isolate a player. Oh, that's a nice shot. Maybe he can finish up. He does it, and it's a 1 versus 2. Maybe that's a 1 versus 1. No, it does not. Khan goes down. That was very close to actually be very, very thrilling right there. Great round from GODSENT. As said, you know, they got a lot of information. They reacted promptly, and that's That's the essence of Nuke right there. You gotta rotate correctly and you gotta do it straight away. If you just hesitate a few seconds with the, as we see Madden go crazy here with the USP, if you just hesitate a few seconds with the rotations, that's when you're being caught off. That didn't happen here for GODSENT, and that's something we have to look out for both of these teams on the CC side. If they can rotate properly, if they can gather the information and react to it, they're gonna have a big advantage in every single round playing on that CT side.
Yeah, the other thing worth mentioning as well is like I would say that this group has been the stacked group. Like looking at who is in the lower bracket right now, you talk about the teams that they've beaten already. You've had the likes of Crazy, you've had the likes of Heroic, who I would personally say are probably the favorites alongside maybe Furia to win this whole thing. So the fact that the loser of this goes into a best of 3 versus either one of those teams, and like realistically, I think Heroic probably going to come through that, and then I would even still put them in the favorite against whoever they face. So this is a massively important match. Like this could be the difference between you going to the playoffs and arguably could be the easier match.
Sure thing. And just think about it this way. Loser of this game will fight. It'll be Heroic, Crazy, and loser of this game who fights for 1 spot into the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy to think of. Winner of that 1 spot will face Tricked, you know, in a semifinal.
If SJ now win,
yeah. We got GODSENT, Heroic, and Crazy fighting for a semi-final spot to face Tricked.
So you'd have the winner of We Play,
yeah,
the winner of Atlanta,
yeah,
and the winner of Rotterdam,
yeah,
fighting for 1 spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. Let's see how that goes. GODSENT is off to a good start here. They got full utility. They got all the guns they want. That being said, though, an auto shotgun and an MP9. Still doable on Nuke, you know, there's a lot of close quarter scenarios, and we have seen the shotgun be very, very proficient. And here we go, Madden. I like that you said a loose cannon. Now we see 2 rounds in a row, him just walking in by himself and dying. Maybe he should just calm down a little bit and try to feel out the map a little bit more before you go crazy, because Nuke is not one of those maps where you really get gifted a lot of freedom. So not the best start for him. That being said, though, it is sort of like a bonus round for GODSENT. They did keep the FAMAS, they did keep the shotgun, they did keep the MP9, so you can't really expect them to win this without any problems.
Yeah, the only problem being, though, that the rebuy for them is not going to be anything particularly good. Like, the amount of kills that came in off the back of what was mainly Glocks, it was actually quite a good round for the SJ side. Like, killing off 2 players meant that there were 2 rebuys and means that there's 2 players who currently have close to 0 cash. Now, a good trade out from Zen early into this round means that he upgrades to an AK-47 at least. And SJ actually looking to potentially back around towards the A side, but they would be walking in to a stack side.
Here we go. Michael Lilly, he's going to be in a prime position to see if he can deal with this. There's going to be pressure from both angles. Using that Molotov a little bit prematurely here. That's going to fade out before the attack comes in from SJ Gaming. It's all up to Michael Lilly here, and he needs at least 1, maybe even 2 kills in order to make sure this round goes in the favor of GODSENT. Can he do it? No, he goes down straight away together with Crystal, and there we go. Everything falls apart now. Stupido. He had a slight chance of getting in there and interrupt the bomb plant, but didn't really pan out. That was a beautiful, well-executed round by SJ Gaming. 2-1 now, and they enter the game with good money, good control. And as you said, the buy coming out here from GODSENT, that's going to be a little bit lackluster.
Oh, it's going to be kind of trash.
Yeah, well, that's one way to put it.
An SMG, a FAMAS, 2 pistols, and a scout. Definitely not what you want to see going into round number 4. And yeah, there was a part of me for a second where you see Sicko like watch him cross, and you go, if he hits like a wonder shot there, it's round over, just from his positioning alone. So still very close, but I like the fact that SJ, considering that they are like an underdog team going into this tournament, whether they think so or not, like spoke to their coach behind them before and he went, oh no, that's the hard work done. Now it's the easy part. Wow. Going forward. So they're clearly confident in themselves, in this situation. But at the same time, to play like that when you haven't played against a lot of top-tier opposition and leave it down to the last 10, 15 seconds to get your execute done, you see so many teams just crumble and run out of time. They didn't break a sweat.
No, and that's nice to see that teams at this level as well is able to do that and can actually control that, you know. And,
they are finished, though.
They are finished. They have no emotion. Is that what you're implying here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, there you go. That's true, and it is nice to see, and I think that's, you know, another interesting storyline with this game, that we have 2 teams that they approach this game as teams, you know. They don't rely on the individuals to bail them out every single time. It's not a Furia, for an example, that looked a little bit too much, you know, reliant on Yuri in that game we just saw here. Now, it looks like it's going to be an inner split once again. 2 guys is posing up towards the door here. Maiden is sitting in a Quite comfortable position. Crystal with a finesse. He needs to go big here. Oh, he's being caught off guard with a finesse. Oh!
The timing not good, and the T's do manage to get their open as Crystal survives longer than expected and actually buys a bit of time for the rotation. This time, Makalele up from above with only 20 seconds. Stico the same spot and the same result, and Makalele can't connect. It's going to be a second round, and this time, there can't be any investment from GODSENT.
Oh, that was very close, right? Crystal, a little bit unlucky being caught off guard with a flash in his hand. Turned it around, though, stayed alive for a few more seconds, allowed Makalele to come in with the backup from heaven with the scout, not able to retake really with that weapon. That's always going to be a tough position to be in. And now we look at a situation where SJ Gaming is in full control. The money is looking good. They have the best possible buy they want to in this round. A Mac 10 on Jumpy. Maybe he can run around, farm a little bit of more money. See, he's going to be aggressive out of the door straight away. Crystal almost caught him off guard here. Not quite. At least he got some control. He's down in the vents already. And SJ Gaming, they look like a team just based off these first 4 rounds, you know, that has a clear idea of how they want to approach the game. And I like to see that. I like to see that from a team at this level, that they put thought into what they're doing. Jumpy again with the Mac 10 getting 2 kills so far. Maybe that's not going to be enough for him. That's a lot of money in the bank as well. Going to save up for that AWP late on the game. And it seems like this is just going to be a clean, crisp, and easy round for the Finns.
Yeah, completely clean, building up that economy. And I think you can see this quite often, actually. A lot of the sort of tier 2, tier 3 teams do this quite often, where you've got not only these young stars, but you have a couple of those older players bringing the experience, bringing them up through the ranks. Like we can talk about Tricked and Hunden doing the exact same thing. And you have it here for Karam being around for a ridiculous amount of time. Like Maniac saying he played against him. I'm sure there's been moments where you've played against him
many
before
times
in your career. So.
I thought he was cheating once. Yeah, he was so good. Not anymore, obviously, but he was a great player back then, and he still is a great player now. As you said, in a different role, he's not necessarily meant to be the star, but he's meant to be the dad of the team. There, I said, you know, who can foster the people and make sure they perform. Maiden once again going down. This is becoming a little bit of a problem. I'm getting a flashback to what we saw from Arth in that game, Korea. Constantly dying, not really working out, you know, and at this point, you know, I respect the fact that you have confidence to go for the opening duels, but if you keep losing them over and over again, at some point you need to chill down. At some point you need to rethink the situation and make sure you don't put an anger around your team, basically. Stuku making up for it, though. Sten is in a bit of a rough position. He should go down in a second here.
Actually, he catches Stico instead, and I think that's the worst of the two. Somehow Zen is still standing with his 8 HP. Makalele watching, but they've actually gone wrapping around, and I don't know if Crystal's away. He does at least catch out Jumpy. The Mac 10 dropped, but it's the rifles that are pushing him from behind, and they're doing a lot of damage to these remaining players. Bomb should be planted without too many problems. Rotation yet to come in. Eventually, Crystal kind of just has to wait. He can't actually peek into this. He's so low on HP, needs some support, and they are taking their time making their way down the ramp. There is a kit onto Crystal at least, but as already mentioned, he's not in the ideal position to really do too much with it. If he goes down and his teammates aren't anywhere near, they may just have to fall into a save, and I think that's looking very likely. The timing from Arvid is absolutely perfect, and now the remaining players have said they don't have a kit, they don't have the time, they're still going to fight this, and wow, it's almost too easy for Arvid to just spray down the remaining players.
Too easy, yeah, too easy for the Finns. Sounds like something we heard before, easy for whatever. It's looking good for them. It's looking really, really good. I like the way they're playing right now. They're putting a lot of pressure towards GODSENT. GODSENT is trying to respond with a lot of pressure, you know, not giving them space outside in the yard area. They're trying to, you know, assert some presence out there. It's just not working out for them, which is obviously the problem, not winning out the duels, giving up too much space to guys like Jumpy and Arvid. It's a game right now where if I'm GODSENT, you know, and I'm sitting in this tactical timeout, I'm thinking we're not necessarily doing anything wrong right now. I think the way they're thinking about the game, the way they're trying to react to what they're facing is not necessarily wrong. They just need to fine-tune it a little bit, and they need to make sure Maiden stays alive so they don't go down a man in the beginning of every single round. If he stays alive in this round, for example, I have no doubt saying that probably is going to be a GODSENT round. So it's the small details right now. If they can fix those, I think we have a very competitive game on our hands.
Well, yeah, you remove him going down, and that's a 4v2 retake. So if they then lose that, then there's other questions that need to be asked about the side. But yeah, it definitely hasn't been too much impact from him so far. And I think also, like, you talk about him being confident. I think there comes a point of almost false confidence where, like, you're going, I can still get this kill, and you go running in, and then you die again, and you're going, I can still get that. And
Yeah,
eventually
exactly.
it's like you're not actually hitting your shots at all. So even then later on, you start to miss things that you wouldn't necessarily miss.
And it's the sickness a lot of players know out there, right? I'm sure there's a lot of guys watching right now in the Twitch chat who can relate to that feeling that they
That is me.
That is you, right? That used to be me as well. We all can relate to it. We're all guilty. But sometimes you need to chill down, right? You need to be there for your team instead of being there for yourself. Take a step back and make sure that you don't do something hesitated. Now, once again, SJ Gaming, that's treating this round, you know, as was it a buy round? They're making slow progress over the map, making sure not to take any risk. They're staying together. There's a lot of trade frag potential. Gaining a lot of ground on the map. Khan here in a good position now. Stiku opening up this round with a nice, crisp deagle kill on Yampi. Could be the thing that's going to turn this one around. Now, Khan, he's in a very good position. This should be an inner split. He's just going to wait for his teammates to be ready for it. Question is if GODSENT has what it takes to stop this. I doubt it. When you have a guy coming from heaven, that's going to be tough to stop.
Again, this same sort of slow-paced play that ultimately ends up with this A-side take. Got so many powerful positions. Zarte evens things up. Madden this time does at least manage to get one, and so many positions to check, but they are clearing all of the Makalele, though. 2 kills back. Even though they lose the round, that's not a bad eco at all. And now they can come in with their best buy yet. The problem is for the T's, it doesn't really matter. They've got so much cash.
There's a lot of money on that Terror side for sure. Up 5-2, and they've been able to win a lot of those rounds very convincingly. So SJ Gaming, they're definitely feeling confident right now. As you said, GODSENT with a full buy now, full utility, AWP and Michael. This is where you need to see him set a presence. This is where you need to see him go toe-to-toe against Yampi. See if he can make it happen. Yampi goes down to half HP there. Michael almost put him to the ground, I believe that was. Rotating away from the inner bomb side, making sure to always make SJ Gaming second guess where he is. There's a little bit of spam going through the door. Both players taking a lot of damage. A little bit of a rough round here. Ooh, that's close, yeah. That could have been dangerous. Yampi almost catching off a player from GODSENT. Now, once again, we see the slow pace from SJ Gaming. They have no problem playing it slow. They want to feel out the map. They want to feel out the situation, see if they can get off with a lucky pick, and then work out from there. Started being brought down to 19 HP. Not necessarily the best start for them, but still, you know, they're making progress. They're taking yard control without really losing any membership.
Yeah, baiting out a lot of the early utility, but even still, there's a few smokes remaining for GODSENT. If it does come down to a retake, however, I do worry for the possibilities of them being successful. It hasn't been particularly successful so far, even with a man advantage in check. And it doesn't seem like SJ really crumble when it comes to these late round scenarios. 35 seconds left as they look to make their way slowly towards the B site. There's already been a rotation from Zen, who is going to be ready and waiting, but he is the only line of defense. However, looks like he's about to try and just use a little bit of utility as a countermeasure. Peeks out, hits that first pick. The trade looking to come in. He hits the dink, but doesn't quite get the kill. So the T's are going to be able to make their way forward. Bomb will cross through the smoke. A little bit of utility saved by the T's to give them that plant. And now we sit in the same scenario again. A man advantage up. GODSENT with a lot of utility. But even still, it seems like SJ are so good in these after-plant situations. Yampi already picking off one, and they're going to try and team up onto Crystal, who's actually making a fair amount of noise. Arvid knows that there's a man in this position, and they just play off of each other so well. Stiko, all he can do is save that AWP. And it was like there was no one even challenging the SJ players. Again, It looks very easy.
It's falling apart, even though they're a man up. You know, you said it yourself, 4 versus 3. They don't have the positions to utilize that. They have no control over the vent area. They have Yampi, you know, once again, a very impactful kill. Hasn't really been the game where you thought to yourself, all right, Yampi's going crazy and he's killing everyone and everything. He's just been, you know, a solid team player, I would say, so far in this game. And that's something I do want to point out, that when we do talk about young guys, you know, when we do talk about star players like Yampi, we know how good he can be. We know the skill ceiling of this kid. When he's also able to show me that he's a team player on a team like SJ Gaming, that's when I get real interested in this kid. That's when you think to yourself, this can become something really, really good. So, healthy sign, great sign to see. Another timeout coming out from GODSENT. I think that's a good idea. It's starting to slip out of hands. I didn't want to say it before when they had a timeout. There's no time for panic, but at this point, when you're down 6-2, when you're losing control over not only, you know, a yard area, but also you're allowing them to go lower bomb site, get the bomb plant every single time, despite being a man up and still losing. You need to have more presence on the map. You need to have better control over certain areas on the map, and that's what they need to figure out in this timeout. Otherwise, it's going to be a case of SJ Gaming just running around and utilizing that they have the better team play right now.
Yeah, what would you say is the minimum rounds?
For GODSENT, they need to get to 6, at least 7 in this half for it to be somewhat acceptable. Well, that's when there's a chance. You win the pistol, you can have a strong T-side, and you're definitely in the game. But if you get away with only 4 rounds here, that's going to be almost an impossible task to crawl your way back into this game.
I'm actually surprised that Sadie's been able to get down here losing only 3 HP.
Yeah.
Like, the vent dive's one of those ones where, okay, maybe you make it, but you should lose at least half your health, taking damage from nades and incendiaries and whatever, but he just ran down.
Glad you named it, right? Because Cadian tweeted after heroic loss to SJ Gaming in the first game of the day on Nuke that they didn't know how to deal with the vent dive. They realized too late how to deal with it, and that's inevitably what made them lose the game after SJ Gaming had another strong T-side. So if you're GODSENT, you think to yourself, if you saw that tweet, or if you saw that game, well, they must have a plan for how to deal with it. That doesn't seem like it. Now, Stuka, though, with another great frag, can't really follow it up. Yampi again with the revenge frag. Michael Lille in a great position. He missed that shot. You cannot do that, Michael Lille. Good for you. You got Crystal to back you up.
Oh, that's another miss from Makalele. It's something that we almost knew him for in the past, was he'd either have a fantastic game or he would go missing, literally. But coming back up the vent. Sadie now left into a 1 versus 2. Crystal has gone big once again. He's been spotted. He's going to have to go back and try and get that bomb. I'm not even sure where it is at this point. It's actually at the top, yeah. This is going to be difficult because he can't go B anymore. He has to go into this A site. I think his opposition know it as well, so just going to be waiting below him. And yeah, if GODSENT don't win this round, I think we should just both leave and just let the game play out because it would be insane.
It will require something extraordinary for them to throw away this round, that's for sure. They're doing it okay, though. He's saving an AWP. I like that. You know, no need to go for the kills. No need to overextend your position. You know at that point you've lost a round, so just deal with it. Don't do a crazy. Don't go for the duels when it's not needed. So nice to see that as well. I'm trying to, you know, find all the positive things in this, even though that you are losing a round, because that's, you know, that's part of Counter-Strike too. If you're optimizing your situation every time you're winning a round, that's good. But if you're optimizing your situation every time you're losing a round as well, that's twice as good. So you gotta optimize every single round. That's something Astralis are known for doing, and that's something some of these, you know, tier 2 teams are slowly but surely adopting into the play. This time around, he didn't get down to the vent. Crystal got him under control, and once again, I think it's fair to say that Crystal has been one of the best players on the server so far in this game, which is also the case we saw in the first game. Not necessarily something you'd expect coming into this tournament. He is the in-game leader. He is a great player, but to be the top fragger, to be one of the most, you know, influential fraggers on the server is not something you can really expect from him.
Yeah, well, completely outfragged Esperanto in the last match, which wasn't something we expected. Maybe he can do the same to Young P, like destroy those young stars by showing them that there's still something there with the experience. And in the last round, there's no doubt that it was his impact that won on the round. The flank from behind completely won it for them. Speaking of experience, Karan is actually up the board as well. I think Zarte's up there with him. Like it's a weird sort of scenario. Arvid's the one currently top, but it's not been a bad performance. Tickling ball plays. Can he get more than one? He needs to. Last time it's the exact same trade. He's at least slowed down the T's a little bit and allowed for potentially some rotations, although the CT's yet to make a move towards that B site.
3 versus 3 scenario. They haven't really decided where they want to go. By the looks of it, Christian is going to be caught off guard by Sarte. That is a nice play. He's waiting and waiting and waiting. And at this point, he's just going to keep waiting. He's going to spot up Michael Lille as well. And they're basically just running into him at this point. It's a 3 versus 1 scenario now. Maiden all by himself. 39 HP, AK in his hand. There should be no way he's winning this one. Now SJ Gaming needs to get the bomb down before the time runs out, obviously. 7 seconds left. You can hear the bomb plant has started. It's going down now. And not really a chance to win that round when Jumpy is the one opening the door for you. There we go. SJ Gaming instantly answer back on GODSENT's round win, and we're looking at 7-3 now, Tom. I think this is the point where you say that if GODSENT doesn't pick up more rounds, you know, at this point, I'm willing to say that SJ Gaming is putting himself in a position where it's up to them to lose the game.
Yeah, that's for sure. Even though the game earlier, we saw Heroic manage to have like a fairly decent T-side, it eventually wasn't enough, and SJ were able to see it over the line. It was a 8-7 half in the previous, so if it goes much further with them getting like 9-10 rounds, like if Heroic fails to do it on the T-side, I don't think GODSENT are going to do it on the T-side.
I think that's a fair thing to say here. Once again, we see SJ Gaming. This has been the default for them, you know, slowly but surely feeling out the map, getting control over the yard area. You can see GODSENT, they don't want to contest it anymore. They tried in the beginning. They didn't really win out the duels. It was straight frag back and forth, but it didn't really work out in their favor. And at this point, they just gave it up. You know, they're giving yard control to SJ Gaming, and this time around, it's actually a lot faster than we've seen before. Not sure that's a good call, though. Maiden, once again, very upfront. He's such an aggressive player, isn't he? He always feels that he has to make a play, and I like that, but so far in this game, it hasn't really worked out for him.
Yeah, a little bit more understanding in a round like this when you do have clear weaknesses within your defense. So.
Surely.
But in some of the rounds prior, not so much. Like, it has been very aggressive.
But again, right, you see the slow pace coming out from SJ Gaming. It's not that GODSENT are not aware of that. They are aware of pretty much everything here. They're ready for it, but they gotta win the duels, and they gotta make sure to win these trade frag scenarios. That's been the big problem for them, and it's gonna be tough for Crystal with a CC, right? That's a bit of a bad Molotov, isn't it?
Yeah, especially so late into the round. It could have been what basically won it for them, and instead both players fall just seconds later. A split-second decision, which basically cost them completely. There's nothing they can do. Again, it's just going to have to fall into a save. I don't think they can challenge this, although Maiden does manage to get a kill back. I hope that doesn't bring some life to this retake, because we've seen them fail 4v3, 3v2. I don't want to see them run into this 4v3 down going into the site. So just an extra kill, basically, maybe to boost morale a little bit, but other than that, it means very little.
You know what I would like to see if I were GODSENT? This is an old-fashioned tactic, and I'm sure a lot of the old-school players out there, they know it, if they played Counter-Strike Source, if they played 1.6 even. I want to see a fight club from GODSENT. Basically, what you do is you run in the door, you run in hut, and you run from ramp, all 5 guys at the same time, and you just, you know, pressure that center area. If you can catch off just one SJ Gaming guy out there, you get a weapon, you get up 5 versus 4, well, you know there's not going to be anyone out there. Everyone is going to be towards yard, and from that point on, you can fall back and you can restructure your lineup. You gotta do something aggressive. You gotta do something to disrupt the play of SJ Gaming right now. If you just sit back and watch what's happening right now, SJ Gaming is just slowly but surely gonna crawl up on you, and they're winning those duels and they're winning the game, you know, basically second after second. So do something aggressive with your GODSENT. See if you can disrupt the play. And a fight club would be an idea to do that. It's not gonna happen though, obviously, I'm just dreaming, but I wanna see some aggressiveness coming out from this region.
I wouldn't mind seeing them just challenge the yard in general, because we saw Zen do it early on in one of the rounds, and they actually came out of that with a 3v2. So I don't think that them fighting it directly is necessarily a bad thing. And by the looks of it, he's at least managed to get them the opener. It wasn't a particularly aggressive peak, but he's finally managed to catch out Sadie, who, although has not necessarily been like the craziest fragger or getting all the kills, he's taken so much map control every single time that it's just almost diminished what GODSENT are able to do. Oh, the timing. Is he going to get the second? Not quite. Trade being looked for.
Oh, God.
My God. So much damage done. Interesting in that round that Makalele actually gave the orb to Crystal.
I was just about to say, that's not a good signal.
No.
Yappy going down to Maiden here, though. He's going to push in. He's going to keep pushing. Stark is aware, but not able to punish it. That was well played by Maiden. That's some of the confidence, you know. We talked about it. He has it, and now he's also delivering aim-wise. Actually picking off the players one by one. Khan in a 1 versus 3 scenario. I'm going to bet my money this is not going to work out for him. 40 seconds left. Has a lot of time to play with. And maybe there's an opportunity here. Nope, Maiden is aware, and there we go. Nice triple kill, and that's exactly what GODSENT needed right there. They didn't really, you know, play the aggressive Counter-Strike I wanted to, but Maiden did it mid-round, and that was apparently enough for them to do that. Glad you mentioned it. Crystal was the one picking up the AWP. Now, we have seen Makalele buy one in this round. It's coming up in a second. Hopefully, he's going to keep it now, because that is a weak signal. If you're giving away your primary AWP to somebody else on the team, it means that you have no confidence in what you're doing. That is not a good signal for GODSENT.
Yeah, especially considering he was fairly underwhelming in the match earlier.
Yeah, it hasn't been his day.
No.
Let's put it that way.
Sure.
One of those days. We all have them.
Some more than most.
Some more than most. You know. Some have them every day. Let's not mention any names, but scrawny. But it's interesting because I haven't seen, you know, anything change from SJ Gaming either. It's not like they tried to put a rocket ball in or do anything fast at any time in this matchup, right? It's just been slow, methodically, making sure to take map control and not really over-exceeding or overdo anything here. They do the exact same thing here, and it works out round after round. Once again, getting the opening kill, and now they can fall back. Now they can gain some more map control and really put pressure on GODSENT.
Crystal's going to go for the hero play. Try and fight them outside. Makalele, there's the shot we want to see, but doesn't manage to get the second. He's got to be careful. Arvid looking to push him close and wins that battle as well. However, Zen, once again, peeks back out a secret. Turns it into a 2 versus 2. Bomb has to be retrieved, but in the meantime, Arvid Just looking to take that out of control as they've done so many times before. I think this is one of the first times we've actually seen a proper fight for it, but I think, again, we have to give props to SJ. They managed to isolate Jules, which shouldn't have been possible with 3 players there. Stiko not going to overface here. Not that much time left on the clock, and with 20 seconds, I think he knows that if he can just hold this position, stop that cross from coming in, he can win the round purely based on time. But Sate gets the most important battle of the round. And now Zen, if he can drop the bomb, he has to peek out here. He needs to get the timing, but he gets stuck on the ladder. That could be it. He hits the headshot at least, but the bomb is going to be planted. Sate into the 1 versus 1 and spots his opposition. Both players so desperately low on HP, and Zen just going to try and reset this, try and take up a new position. And Zate is actually looking in completely the wrong angle. It's all based on the timing, and Zen's going to win it. So desperately close. It could have all gone wrong just from him getting stuck on that ladder, but he does clutch it out in the end.
Sure does, and he's keeping GODSENT alive in this matchup now, 8-5. You asked me before, what is the minimum amount of rounds that I want GODSENT to have in order for them to have a chance of making the comeback? I'd say 6, and I still say that. It's definitely possible now, and I think that's okay, you know, because I think first half has been all about SJ Gaming. I think they've been by far the superior team. They by far have had the best approach to the game, and GODSENT have always been on the back heels, basically from the get-go. So if they can get away with 6 or even 7 rounds in this half, they should feel happy about that. Now, finally, we see fast pace coming out of SJ Gaming. This time around, he's not getting down the vents now. Maiden, once again, you get the opening duel, right? You get the opening pick. There's no need for you to rush in and give that up. Thank God you got Stiko on your team. Makes up for it. But he's been a little bit over-eagerly, I'd say, in terms of getting those kills. Now we see that aggression coming out from GODSENT that I want Michael Lille as well following up, and it's a 1 versus 3 scenario. As I'm talking here, that's what I want to see GODSENT. Being aggressive, doing it together, and it works out, right? You're putting pressure towards SJ Gaming, and they cannot handle it.
Well, a lot still to do. As Karon came close in the pistol to taking what was a ludicrous attempt at a clutch, but I think this one would definitely take the biscuit, especially considering their financial situation. Like, you don't want to save with a minute left on the clock, and I don't think he will, but it may not necessarily be the worst scenario. Zen, good spot. If he does get the kill, his teammate was ready for the trade. I don't think there was any way that was going to happen, and GODSENT, they are going to get their 6th. They're slowly grinding things back. It's definitely a long road to go, that's for sure.
Putting on a show for the Swedish fans out there. I love to see it. They surely do need your backup right now, because it is still a rough position to be in, right? You gave up 8 terrorist round to SJ Gaming, so even though you win the last one here, it's still going to be a lost half on a CT side Nuke. Not necessarily what you want to. The good thing for GODSENT is, as of late, it seems like they got it under control. The buy coming out from SJ Gaming here is not as strong as you'd expect to, so this would be a round GODSENT needs to win, and hopefully that can foster some confidence coming into second half, because we did see in the first game against Crazy how well they play together as a team. Now Crystal in a very upfront position here is ready if anyone decides to come out of the door, putting down another smoke, making sure to cover that area off. Once again, SJ Gaming playing it slow, not taking any chances, not taking any risks. They're just waiting and praying that GODSENT is making a silly mistake, which they have been doing a few times so far.
Oh, here we go. It's just a blast straight through, although it seems like they get separated there. Karan's managed to find a kill on the outside, picks up a rifle as well. And then the Galil does the job on Sadie, leaving Makalele and Stiko, but Stiko has found 2. Drops both the rifles. One will at least be retrieved, and the attempt to get down the vent actually hinders them quite significantly. It's left onto Yumpy. He hasn't had to be the star just yet, with 8 rounds already onto the board, but a 9th would be a welcome guest. He's going to be able to retrieve the bomb, and he still has a fair amount of time. The only problem is Stiko has a fantastic read on this and even finds the final frag. A strong comeback from GODSENT, but still SJ in the lead as we come back after the second half. While Pimp's minimum has been exceeded, but even still 8 rounds on the T side for SJ is a solid half to say the least. It was all they needed to finish things off versus Heroic. Do you think GODSENT can do a better job on the T side?
There's a chance. I highly doubt it, but we'll see. It's going to be rough for them. It's always rough to play on the T side on Nuke, especially when you're forced to win out 8 rounds, or maybe 9 if you want to win the game. So it's going to be tough for GODSENT, but there's a chance now that starting out with a fast in a push. Question is, can they make it work? Doesn't seem like it. Arvid is getting down 2 kills, staying alive. Same goes on for Savage. Arvid getting a 3rd one. He's been playing hearts out so far. Jumpy helping him out. Now it's Stiko all by himself, and that is it. That went very fast. I like the idea with the Molotov on towards Hot and putting on pressure towards inside, but when you have a player that's called Arvid who just decides to kill 3 guys with a USP, then good luck.
Yeah, he's been fantastic throughout the day, in fact. So, and someone that's been really difficult to deal with. Like, Yumpy's obviously the one that is highlighted as the up-and-comer, the star of the squad. But when it comes to Nuke, Arvid seems to be the one to watch out for. And, well, going into this round, we are going to see a force buy thrown in from GODSENT, all their money invested.
Right. This is a set plan for GODSENT. When you're investing this much into a force buy, you buy so many CCs, so many nades, you have a clear plan of what you want to do. Smokes outside, they will probably want to get some lower control and see if they can get the bomb planted lower and hopefully, you know, force some of those close duels with the CCs. So far, so good. 2 guys goes down. Now Sadie, he's already on top of that. Getting Molotov out here, but putting down a good nade, I believe. It's gonna hurt Crystal a little bit, but at this point, right, you used all your utility and now you're being forced to re-rotate into the players of SJ Gaming. So already at this point, it's hanging in a thin thread.
Yeah, they did drop the AUG, however, so that could be a decent weapon. Pick up the flashbang from Zen is perfect as well. That's both rifles already dropped down to the floor. With only SMGs remaining, this is going to be a tough take for the CT side. Makalele showing that Tech-9 still has some life in it as they make their way down towards the B site. And with the experience left, Zate and Karon. Oh no, they're going to go wrapping back around.
I like this from GODSENT, right? I just said that it's looking at, oh my god. There we go, maybe the round is not over anyway. Can he get another one? Nope, we cannot. And there we go, it's a 1 versus 3 now for Sata. It shouldn't be possible, but the fact that GODSENT, you know, stuck together for that long, you know, constantly rotating around the map, constantly made SJ giving second guess, is it going to be upper, is it going to be lower? That was very well played by GODSENT. And as I said, I have no problem with teams forcing up if there is a clear plan of what they want to do. And you could see GODSENT, they've tried this over and over in practice. They had a clear vision, clear idea of what they wanted to do, and it worked out perfectly fine. That flash in heaven for Stiko to get that kill, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a perfect flashbang, and while that dropped the second rifle as well, that meant going forward in the round, both rifles were in the hands of GODSENT, and they didn't even really need them. It's the Tech-9 and the SMGs that actually ended up closing out the round, but there we go. Pretty much the worst case for the CT side. Win the pistol, lose the force buy round. And this is as little money as you can possibly have on that CT side nowadays. Even still, though, Yumpy is going to be able to get the opener. Sally switches between the players, but actually, they've made this work wonderfully. Zen going to be tagged. Yumpy actually kills himself somewhere else on the map. I don't know what happened there. And somehow this now turns into just Zate remaining, but 14 HP.
Look at the bomb, though. It's in a very good position if you're starting now. The problem is he's going to be backstabbed here. Yes, there we go, round over. There was a chance, though, combining for, what is it, 14 HP on that Terra side. That was very, very close. I don't know how Jumpy died, and I don't think that was on purpose. He jumped?
He jumped.
Jumped. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. A very good one there. But that was a bit of a problem, wasn't it, right? They probably would have won that round had he not sacrificed himself for the greater God. So, unlucky for Jumpy. We are looking at a 9-9, and you asked before, you know, can GODSENT make a comeback here? Surely they can if they, you know, keep up this level. It's going to be one of those games that is just going back and forth, I feel. I think both teams, you know, as said, they have a clear idea of how they want to play the T side, and it's tough to disrupt it if you don't have a clear idea of how to do that coming into the game. So it's looking to be a close one and a fun one. This one should be relatively easy, though. There's not a lot of money on the CT side. There's 4 USPs. I think we may have started, but this should just be, you know, begging breakfast for the GODSENT players.
Yeah, Madden's still taking quite a lot of damage, but ultimately not really expecting much to come of it. They are going to look to hunt him down. And, hey, that's 1 kill at least, but no chance to save the weaponry. GODSENT take the lead for what is the first time since the very beginning of the map where they managed to win the pistol.
Yeah. And now, I do have a problem with the way they're handling the money in the SJ Gaming camp. When you have a guy like Yumpy, who is so good with AWP, who is so versatile, who can move around and can do basically everything with that gun, you gotta save up for it, right? You gotta make sure you have that gun in your hands at the earliest possible convenience. Now, he's playing with an M4, and it's not like he's a bad rifle player by any means, but he's so much more effective with a gun, a big green gun in his hand, and he's not, you know, he's not able to afford it, and I think that's a bit of a problem. But we'll see if it works out for them. There's a lot of utility on the TT side, and that's obviously also very important to have. But again, a duel like this with an AWP, that's just going to work out so much better.
Almost handed a bit of an early pick, but
he's super aggressive with the rifle, right? He's playing it like it wasn't AWP. I can respect that.
I don't know how Madden seems to gain so much pace, like straight out into the middle of the site, gets an opening, but ultimately just comes back as a trade. But look at the time. Minute left on the clock. You got one flashbang and an HE. Flat rifles. There goes the HE. It does actually do a reasonable amount of damage at least, but this can make things so difficult now for the CT side. You can see the reaction they're having. Okay, we got to try and get a bit aggressive. We got to try and take some map control away. Because if we just sit back, we're going to get executed, and that's exactly what's happening. Crystal pushes in, gets that opener, but look how much damage has been done to every single player on that SJ lineup. In fact, Makalele's just killed Zen. I don't even know what... That was a clean kill as well. There was no assist with that.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Have ourselves a 3 versus 3 retake scenario here. No nades on the CT side. It's going to be tough there, and tough positions as well. He has to crawl up the vent, has to come out from heaven. He's going to wake up for Khan. He's winning the first duel now. The other guy is isolated by the smoke. This is definitely possible for SJ Gaming. There's no kit though, so they need to be a little bit faster. They need to trigger the bomb. That's what they're doing. Makalele giving up his position. Also going down, and now Crystal, he's in a great position. He's going to win this one out. There's no way he can win now with no kit. I don't believe he has the time for it, and Jumpy realizes that as well, and we have GODSENT actually making the comeback now, leading 11-9. It is scrappy, it is close. It's been not the most beautiful Counter-Strike game that I've ever watched, but it sure as hell is fun to watch right now, because both teams, they are fighting with everything they got.
Yeah, Makalele even tried to help them out through that round.
Yeah, very generous.
I don't even know how that happened.
He's probably like, why are you blocking me?
I just love the idea that he just turned around and went, ah! Oh, wait, we're the terrorists. Oh.
He's having a rough day, Makalele, isn't he? Hopefully it'll be better if he wins this game.
Are we the bad guys?
Another round with no money invested from SJ Gaming. They have to save Jumpy. Still has the AK-47, so it'll be up to him to see if he can do something. He's gonna face Maiden here. Question is he gonna win the duel? He is. Well, very effective. 4 versus 5 still, you know. GODSENT, they have the information now that the AK-47 is located in that position. Sadie with a deagle here, that could be very dangerous. Fast split towards inside. Sadie, he grabs off the bomb, and look at that. Smoke is covering the bomb. This could be very dangerous for the GODSENT guys. Can he find another frag? He does. Through the smoke, he has a deagle. Oh, almost find Crystal as well. That finds the 2 versus 1. Jumpy with an AK-47. Does a lot of damage, but is also being brought down to 8 HP. Doesn't look like this is going to work out, Tom, does it?
I think he'd have to get very lucky, especially with Crystal taking the bomb all the way to the other side of the map. And because he was going on a long rotation himself, I was going to say he didn't know, but this actually works quite well for him. They've now planted. He's managed to move completely from where he was, but it seems like they have predicted this. It's whether they line up and he gets the first. Looks for the spray through the wall. He can't afford to take a single bullet. Well, it's not going to happen. Sticko, calm and collected.
Is that the 3rd round in a row now? We have it come down to a 1 versus 1. There was also a round where GODSENT survived with combined 14 HP on 2 players. It's been very, very close rounds. I mean, GODSENT, they're winning them, so they can be very happy for that. They're putting up numbers on the scoreboard, up 12-9, but every single round is down to the wire. Every single round is getting close. It's only a question of time before SJ Gaming figures out a way to win this one. Now, Jumpy has an AWP in his hand. That's what you want to see. But him dying almost, that's not good.
Yeah, no head armor, gets double dinked through the wall, and very lucky to be alive at this point. Already, again, these entries just working so well. Sticko having a very good game. Takes away the ramp control, even just looks to hold on to it. Just survive in the corner, wait for the CTs to try and make some sort of play back. And you can already see now that the CTs are trying to almost rotate players a little bit too early. They've moved 2 down towards the B side. Madden gets caught out by the man coming back up the vent, but still the trades are going to be there with the Ts on the advantage once again. Jumpy, with such low HP, has to try and be some sort of hero here. And they're not even taking the bomb with them, the Ts, at this point. They're just running around the map, finding kills, and SJ have no response.
Yeah, and there's not much Khan can do in this situation. I'm glad you said it right, because I was just thinking about it. It's not like GODSENT is doing something out of the ordinary. They're basically just walking around the map, winning the opening duels, finding the picks, and that's enough for them right now. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to throw in any crazy strats or any crazy smokes or, you know, gain lower control with smoking out the yard area or anything like that. Basically right now, I wouldn't say it's being gifted to them, but it's definitely made a lot easier that SJ Gaming are willing to take the duels, and right now they're winning them. So it looks maybe a little bit easier than it is for GODSENT. Another round on the board, 13-9. Starting to get to a point where SJ Gaming, they struggle. They need to figure out how to enable Jumpy. They need to figure out how to stop dying initially in the rounds. And maybe this is the time where you do something aggressive together, or you just sit back completely and you play 2-2 and then have Jumpy with an AWP somewhere being defensive where he can't die, but he gets some information.
Well, you can even just look at the 3 first duels of that round. Spray through the smoke that dinks Jumpy down to, what, 14 HP? Then you had just a straight walkout ramp from Stico. He just walked out. Yep. Got that opening kill. And then the exact same thing just moments later coming out from Maiden on the A side. He just walks out the door, gets the kill. Sure, he gets traded afterwards, and then it goes a little bit more backwards and forwards. But the 3 opening duels are firmly in the favor of GODSENT with no response whatsoever.
Yeah. And it's tough to win Counter-Strike rounds if you die like that, right? That's pretty simple math if you go down 5 against 2 or 4 against 2 in that scenario. It's looking a little bit rough for them. They're taking a tactical timeout now, and I wonder what it is they're discussing. Do they want to continue with the game plan they've been practicing so far, or do they want to do something differently? Now, they obviously don't have any money in this round. They only have an M4 silenced on Khan, and again, he has to be the guy doing a lot of the job. They have a little bit of utility, some armor of some of the guys, but it's looking rough. It's looking like GODSENT is really going to take charge over this game.
No, they're definitely going to need someone to step up, maybe like light the fires a little bit within SJ. Although we do talk about the Finns being a little bit more emotionless, calm, collected in these scenarios. I'm sure that just getting an extra round on the board could bring some of these players to life. We haven't seen the best from Jumpy, that's for sure. And on the T side, sure, we had a great performance from Arvid, but even he started to slow down a little bit. And it does start to worry you that even just individually now, we've started to see Stico just being able to walk into angles. Nice work from Grom. Maybe it's going to be the IGL, the leader, to lead by example. As he gets 2 kills in a round that they really do have no business having a chance in. However, Makalele drops that weapon to the floor, and with the control of outside firmly in the favor of the Ts, there's not really any chance to retrieve any of the weapons, and any attempts are going to lead to, well, that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's a little bit too easy. It's like GODSENT, they're being pressured, but it seems like SJ Gaming is basically just walking into the crosshairs right now, which is obviously not fair to say, as it requires some skill to push mouse 1 and actually kill people. But in the sense that it's not like GODSENT are being forced to do something out of the ordinary. They're not being forced to reinvent the way they're playing. They're just walking around, playing together as a team, and I like to see that, but that's it, right? It doesn't take more than that right now for them to win the rounds, and there must be a little bit of a pity for the SJ Gaming fans out there watching that you have a team with so much potential that put themselves up in a position where they were up 7-2, I believe, on the T side, and now trailing 9-14, and by the looks of it, they haven't had, you know, any chance whatsoever of closing down this game and actually getting back into it on the CT side. It seems to me like GODSENT is in full control, and SJ Gaming, as good as the T side was, as bad as the CT side is right now.
Yeah, it was 6-2 and then 8-3.
There we go.
And then since it was 8-3, they have won 1 round, as you can tell by the scoreboard.
10-1 for GODSENT, 11-1 now, right?
Yeah, it's been a ridiculous streak, but more importantly, the majority of it has been on that T side. And as you mentioned, like, this is one of those maps, I would put it alongside Train, where if you don't get rolling, if you don't get a few rounds like grinded together, you really can just struggle still. Like, it can turn into one of those ridiculously CT-sided maps. At the same time, if the CT side never get the full economy, they never get everything on their side, like maybe the AWP doesn't have an AWP or they have utility missing, you can find holes in the defense, like Stico has been doing very well, like just pushing outside and pushing through the ramp and getting those opening picks. And it's where a player like Maiden will absolutely flourish, because he's able to, okay, well, there's no Molotov here, so I'll just walk.
Sure.
And if you give me a 1v1 duel, I'd rate him to win most of the time.
I'd take it, yeah. Interesting buy from the SJ Gaming guys. You can see Yampi has $4,100 in the bank account, but he decides to go with SG. He does not want the AWP. Maybe he's not feeling comfortable. Maybe the SG is that good. Now Sadik is going down to Maiden once again. He's just walking out, getting the opening duel, and yes, he goes down. Yes, he gets traded, but he gets a lot of information. Puts down Arvid to 42 HP. Definitely worth it. And that round, that duel right there, that sums up pretty much the entire T-side from GODSENT. Maiden doing some hero plays, getting the job done, and then slowly but surely GODSENT is just walking around, finding the kills, finding the openings, made possible by Maiden being so aggressive. I like that player. I really like to see him being so aggressive, especially considering that we criticized him a little bit in the beginning, saying that he was a little bit too aggressive, which he was, you know, fair criticism, but he definitely came after it, and now he's making it work, and it looks good.
But the other thing is, it frees up a lot of space, so you can see where Crystal currently is sitting, and also it baited out half their utility. The second he did that, smoke, flashbang, incendiary, just throw everything, stop them getting in. It's like, they're not even planning to push. It's just he is a different part of the team. He's on his own team, and then the rest of them are together. 20 seconds left, though, as they do go for that push round onto the B side. That was the attempt. The bomb has made it down at least, and it is going to be able to cross in. A strong position from Sticko and Crystal, but they get rid of Sticko. That's important. That allows for the rotations to happen. They do still have to worry about where Crystal is currently sitting, and that's exactly where he is. He gets the kill back, but they need to do a little bit more. It's still a 3 versus 2 scenario. Crystal well placed, 23 kills once again, going so strong as he steps up once more and leaves it all onto Zate. He does have a kit. Could just try and tap this defuse, bait them out, looking through the gap, waiting for Makalele to pick, and he does. Even hits him through the door. Crystal once again. Big plays coming out from him, leading by example. He's on 26 kills. Again, at the start of the day, if I told you across 2 maps, Crystal's going to have 50 kills, I think you would have slapped me and said, come on, Tom, wake up.
I would have said you're definitely right, Tom.
Yeah.
Of course, I know how good Crystal is. No, he's definitely, I wouldn't say overperforming, but he's performing at a very high level right now. We know how good he can be, and we know how influential a player he can be. He's also, you know, the in-game leader. He's taking charge of this team, and it's looking very good for GODSENT right now. There we go. Yampi picking up the AWP, getting an opening duel. I love to see it. Maiden once again trying to walk out, create some space. This time it didn't work. Now this is the opening you want if you're SJ Gaming. Makalele with a response back here. And then he goes down. See, this is good, right? This is good for SJ Gaming. Yampi being aggressive towards ramp. Then being aware that Maiden, he is going to walk out the door as he's done 100 times before, and then dealing with it the way it's supposed to be dealt with.
How on earth does he get away with that? It may not matter in the end, as eventually Zen's HP becomes the problem.
Did you see how easy that looked for Yampi in this round with the AWP?
Yeah, just walking around.
This is like no effort whatsoever, got a triple K. You know, that's what I want to see. That's what he should have done before.
But the thing is as well, it's one of those things where you talk about the... Okay.
Now let's see here what the response is going to be. How do they want to approach this if you're GODSENT? Slowly but surely they are trying to gain some map control. Karan once again getting the opening duel, and that's what we haven't seen so far in this game, that they're actually winning the opening duel. It's not Maiden doing it. It is the guys from SJ Gaming. Great sign, great start into this round. GODSENT haven't really achieved anything whatsoever. They have no yard control, they have no control towards ramp. Basically just being put down or man down, so see if Sticko can do something about that here. Nice little flash smoke combination, putting on some pressure. 2 guys are aware though. Starter and Karan should be able to deal with this. Now Maiden once again getting an opening duel, or at least answering back to the opening duel and walking out the door. I feel like we've seen this 100 times, almost catching off Yampi. It's fun to watch, and he does it again and again and again.
This is a big problem. He's still going as well. Just waiting by that door. It seems like it's his position to play, and that's the 3rd of the round now for Maiden. It's left again down to the old guard of SJ to try and hold on in this scenario, try and save them. The spray through from Zate is perfect, but it's left with Sticko in a 1 versus 2. A decent chance here as both players are incredibly low, and he goes back to this same position. We've seen him in multiple times. Just looking to try and put some doubt in the minds of the remaining players. Second guess as to where he could be standing. He's going to hear the steps as they go through. Zate just waiting patiently, and the timing is going to be everything. He'll get that final frag. Defusal is going to be coming in, and SJ will survive that a little bit longer.
Once again, it comes down to the very last seconds of the round, the very last HP of any of these players. I feel like we've had a very close game, right? The score may seem it's 15-11, but a lot of those rounds could have gone differently. A lot of those rounds were very, very close. Now, GODSENT obviously had the coolness to win the majority of those, and that's why they're in such a favorable position. Still have money to buy up. AK, AWP, and Michael Lille, still decent utilities. Stuka without anything. That's about it. This is a game that have overtime written all over it, to be honest. Feels like GODSENT, you know, good position, playing well, but just can't get over the finish line right now. And he's walking out the door. Would you believe it?
To be honest, at this point, he's been so successful that you can't really fault it. Like,
No, not at all.
they say if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, if at first you do succeed, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, well, why change anything? Like,
Of course.
it's like you and your bad boy attitude. Like, it's worked for you so far. So maybe if people stop hiring Pimp, he'll be nicer. There you go.
Ah, there you go. That may be something you can tell the DreamHack guys now. As for this round, Stuku, he opened it up. Arvid trying to respond back, and I like the fact that they know they have to do something. Sadix does it as well. Crystal goes down to Karan, and now again we're in a position here where SJ Gaming have the advantage. 4 against 3 guys. Got ramp control. Seems like lower is going to be where it's going to go down. There's nobody to defend this, and we've seen it over and over again. Retaking the lower bomb site against SGs is very, very rough. Question is, SJ Gaming, can you do it? It's now or never. If you lose, you're out. Actually, you're not out, but you lose the game.
You got a tough match tomorrow, whatever it is. That's the point. The best of 3 will be difficult, but we'll see if they can survive again. They managed it in the last round. They've got a man advantage once again. But the utilities all but expended. They're just going to try and be blasting their way through the door. Karan leading the charge, but the time really is ticking. They need to get moving. Sticko already starts things off, and as soon as we start the sentence, the round is done, and so is the match. A phenomenal comeback from the guys at GODSENT. It was looking all but done going into the second half. A victory, 8-7 in the favor of SJ. The pistol even going their way. And from then on, it was all GODSENT.
Yeah, and I said it in the first half when GODSENT took the second time out. What they're discussing, what they're talking about right there, they didn't necessarily do anything wrong in that first half. I think they just faced a well-playing SJ Gaming who did everything right. So GODSENT, they just kept to do their own thing. They kept, you know, believing in their own concept. And you saw on that T side that they were by far the better team. Very well played by them. I think it was a great performance by both teams, but in particular by Sticky as well, showing us why he was once considered one of the most and best influential support players in the game. Having a great game here and then making sure GODSENT got pushed over the finish line.
Well, the good thing as well is that we haven't really seen too much from Makaleli, and they've still made it through.
Sure.
Like, they've made it through what is pretty much the group of death.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So you've managed to avoid like going out to either of the teams before, and you've got through to the playoffs, and then he could step up. We'll see anyway what the desk think.
Yeah, we're thinking, Tom. We're thinking, that's for sure.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, I was going to give... They were taken away so quickly, but I was going to say props, Pip. Props. As somebody who's doing a different job today for the first time, I think he's killing it out there. So
You both are.
You're both amazing.
thanks, guys.
Hey.
You're really good liars. But that's it. We're done our 6 games. GODSENT, as predicted by Mathieu, who now holds 4 correct predictions over top of our 3 and Twitch Chat's 3. You've finished on top in day 1, man. That was a well-painted picture thanks to your 3 reasons why, and I think that each of your points were touched on nicely once the game unfolded.
Yeah, listen, the fact that I neither convinced you or the Twitch chat make me rethink my whole 3 reasons why. Like, I should have done a way better job because I knew where I was going, but you guys still doubted me.
Yeah.
So for tomorrow, I'm going to do 3 reasons why. I want people to follow me and be right. That was my next objective.
Listen, man, I was sitting next to you 10 rounds deep, and I remember seeing that dire long phase because there was a point where it seemed like SJ were going to cause 2 upsets today.
Exactly, and to be fair, as you mentioned, SJ were in the lead in that beginning first half. It was 8-3 in their favor. It looked like they were going to steal this match away, and then Crystal says, nope, not today, not this time. And even in the second match, he showed up huge. He had over 100 plus ADR throughout this entire match. So, and it's a bit surprising, Matthew.
It is. I mean, no disrespect to Kevin, I like him very much. I even played with him at some point. We were trying to put the lineup together back in the days, right? But he is not the player that you would put in that position, right? If you had to guess right now and say at the beginning of the day who's going to be the top fragger or the top of the scoreboard, that would not be Crystal. So he is one of the main representative of this offline GODSENT that is actually overperforming by my standards. And individually, he's putting so much numbers. And when you think about GODSENT and the win conditions, he's not up the list. So that is just a bonus when you have a player that is not supposed to perform so high and he's just carrying.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
Sure does. And I'm sure it feels real good for this man right here. Michaelele with a big win, my man. Congratulations. 2-0, straight through to playoffs. How's that feel?
It feels freaking awesome.
Good. Good. That's nice to hear. It's good to see this kind of like ragtag team back in action. I have to be honest with you guys. It was kind of surprising to see your fashion in Malta, how easily you guys took over that event, not dropping a map. Now you're in playoffs of your second LAN, and it's a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling comfortable. We know that what we're capable of, and we're just we have been playing for such a long time together now, and it feels more like we know each other because we've had really bad periods, and like, yeah. So we've just been fighting through everything together, and now we're just starting to actually get the results going.
Christine, you got a question?
Yeah, now it seemed like on that T side especially, you guys were taking so many duels. All of you were very spread out. You even were walking out up top, upper bomb site without throwing any nades. Was this an audible call in the middle of that match because you guys were winning so many of your duels, or was that your game plan from the get-go?
The thing with the SJ Gaming is that they're a little bit random in their game plan, so we had to be a little bit random as well. So we just decided that, okay, we're just going to go for picks. We're going to see if something is actually going to work out with those picks, and the result is telling you.
All right, I asked this question to your in-game leader. Now it's your turn. If you had to tell me what is the main difference between online GODSENT and offline GODSENT, what is the big difference for you?
I mean, offline is where you should shine and where you should be good, I would say. I feel like online everyone is like at their own environment. They can play their own game and their own pace and everything. But offline, it's more about like the nervous state of the game. Like you cannot be nervous, but you're a little bit nervous, and then you're like shaking a little bit, but you're not shaking that much. But I don't know how to explain it from my point of view. It's not a Swedish show, but we're pretty good offline. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing great. I have to say, you're doing pretty great.
I gotta say, it's nice to cheer for you guys. It's nice to see you all have this like next wave of success, because like you said, you've all fallen kind of on your own time, at your own turns, into harder times during your careers, right? And now like this is a comeback for a lot of you guys. So this must feel good. And again, just big congrats, dude. You guys have earned your day off, and we'll see you Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Michaelele. It's good to see him back in victory's lane, man.
It's been too long.
Yeah, it has been. And now having just let him off the hook, I kind of wanted to actually ask, like, that was a second map today where, sure enough, we see the team succeed, we see Crystal above and beyond, but it was not like his opping was a turning point for either of their victories. And I'm wondering, in his own mind, like, does he think he needs to be, or is it just one of those days where, he didn't have to work?
Yeah, and I mean, one of the concerns that we have going further in this tournament is like, okay, cool, they've been winning without Michaelele shining, which is great, but is he going to be able to when he need to, right? There's going to be a time, there's going to be a point where Crystal does not find a tactical solution, or individually speaking, it's not working, and Michaelele will have to be the guy giving rounds. We haven't seen that yet. Can he do it in playoff?
Right, so we wait until Sunday to maybe see some ridiculous Michaelele clips, but we do already have 5 plays of the day from this opening match, or opening day rather, queued up for you guys. So without further ado, let's do it. Let's head into the top 5 plays of the day.
And this is play number 5 with Heroic versus SJ. This is an eco round coming out of Heroic. S-Attack has that P250 in armor, drops off that connector, and it's these jiggle peaks. He gives them 1, he gives them 2, and is able to get just a 2-shot P250, even picks up the A4 and gets another 3rd kill.
Yeah, beautiful. As a 4th, we have Crystal, the man of the hour, the man that did it all today. He was top fragging in both games, I believe, and here he's with the 4K saving the clutch in a 2 versus 4. I like that version of him, to be honest.
Yeah, number 3, we had Furia versus Marshall, and of course it is Henny. This lobby push, the damage through the wall that you didn't just see there, the re-aggression over and over. He walks away from that play with a big old 4K.
He definitely does. And here is play number 2. We've got Furia versus Marskok. And of course, it's Art coming out with a 4K. He even gets a knife to boot. Bunny hopping from that ramp. We were in the green room wondering, where did Art come from?
Yeah, and then we have as first the definition of winning around on your own. Borup defending the A side, left, right, middle, center, M4, USP, probably going in with the knife if he has to. That was just a one man standing against the world.
And that's that. The top 5 plays of the day, brought to you by the 3 of us and everyone at DreamHack. So,
you did a pretty good job, but at the same time, you're a professional caster.
Yeah,
you're
right?
in your element. I saw you going, talking about
play-by-play in the replay.
God, he's in the zone.
Yeah, I was ready for it. Sorry, that was a little flashback.
You're like the...
Yeah, I keep walking by the caster desk and I'm just getting drawn towards it.
I'm like, no, come back.
I'm in the green room and I go to run to the desk and I run to the wrong one. I think it's safe to say that I owe each of you a thank you. I want to say thank you for being here with me my first day as a desk host. You made it a lot easier than it could have been. And I just appreciate both of you guys. And I appreciate you too, both viewers and DreamHack Production. I know you guys are watching. But there's also 3 other people I need to thank. And that is, of course, our most important sponsors, Monster Energy, Corsair, and Nice Cactus. Folks, this is DreamHack Open Winter 2019. We are celebrating the 25th anniversary of DreamHack, and it's for that reason that this is not only a pleasure, but an honor to be standing where I am. We will see you guys tomorrow with some loser elimination games and then the deciders before we start with Playoff Sunday. So from the bottom of my heart, I bid you adieu. We'll see you all tomorrow. Whoop, whoop.